The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of Power Trading Hour. It doesn't matter where you are in the world as long as you're here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, a reversal of Friday's sneak attack. I'm going to say it was almost a Pearl Harbor on Friday. Very interesting that they try to push that out on the Wednesday night before, or Thursday night before the long weekend. But they certainly did and spooked quite a few folks. It seemed to me like the media is really trying to backpedal today on the whole Fauci, this latest Fauci virus variant. And you know what? It's hard to tell. So I'm going to let the charts do the thinking for me. We did get back up to pretty severe resistance levels in a lot of these stocks. So we'll go through that today. As I said last week, I was looking for an up week this week. Wasn't looking for the Pearl Harbor Friday. But certainly we've got the Fed started pushing a lot of cash out late on Wednesday. So someone must have tipped them off that it was time to get ahead of the game. All day Friday, they were pushing cash out in the bonds. This morning, we have kind of a little reversal of that. The TLT did get down to 147.17, 149.03 currently. So you're down $1.50. But a lot of that cash came in and came out on Friday. Found it going back into the markets today. And you know what? It doesn't look a whole lot better than it did last week before we went lower. The only thing is we do have fund buying this week. So are they just going to hold it up with this as the last stand? Are we going to have any kind of volume? Actually had really good volume on Friday. For a shortened day, we had a little over 9 billion shares from the CBOE's consolidated tape. So it wasn't a bad day, even though you closed 3 hours early on volume. And, you know, the old saying from the Wyckoff folks is a low is not a low until it gets retested. So the question is, do we retest Friday's low after we have a short respite for fund buying this week? And the question is going to be, are we going to end up with some fairly light volume in a lot of sectors today? And those sectors just get narrower and narrower. And at some points, they just become 3 or 4 or 5 tech stocks, and that's it. Anyway, we're going to find out a great deal about the market this week, especially on Wednesday, which is really the height of fund buying, on whether people were pulling cash out or putting it in. But what can you say? 877-927-6648. Email me at path, P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. We've already got a few emails already coming in. Let's do a little history, and then we'll get to those and some other things. Hector says that it looks like they drove the bus into the ditch on Friday, the Hampton B team, as everybody was away. Yeah, I think everybody had kind of an idea that it was coming. And I'm still waiting for the aftershocks. You don't get a $10 move in crude without it wiping out some hedge funds. Somebody big is going to be on the wrong side of that filthy stick. And I haven't seen about it yet. But you get a $10 move like that quickly, it's going to wipe some people out. So I'm continuing to wait and see. Again, probably not on the side of the people that are playing Microsoft or Amazon or some of these other ones so much. But certainly the people that are big into commodities, they were very long on that side. Now, maybe this was a lot of retail investors hiding in crude, thinking the market was headed lower. As I said last week when someone asked me if we should go long anything, I said I really didn't like anything. Everything was heading lower. All the signals were saying horrible things. And, of course, one day does not change anything. In fact, we might get some very big signals now that there may be some medium-term short positions come in. Now, is it going to be for the entire market? Well, if you're in the NASDAQ, the 4 or 5 stocks that run that, are they going to change between now and the first of the year? Probably not. But the the S&P, the Russell, the Dow, those are all indexes that could have the brunt of selling between now and the end of the year if people start trying to get ahead of the game. 877-927-6648, and I avoided little history, but we'll do it now.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1972, Atari introduces their first product, Pong, which would become the world's first commercially successful video game. Of course, it was an arcade game. The popularity of Pong sparked the beginning of the video game industry, with Atari being the leader in both arcade and home video games through the early 1980s. Nolan Bushnell, which I met and almost got into business with in the mid-90s, started this company, I think in 1969 or 1970. He had gone to California to seek his fortune. He was enamored always with animatronic figures and wanted to go to work for Disney's Imagineering. A fresh graduate out of school, I think it was MIT, pretty smart guy. They had no desire to hire fresh people out of school and train them. They wanted experienced people that they knew that they could go and start work the first day and start producing stuff. Probably Disney's loss at Disney's Imagineering. But what did he do? Well, he went on and worked for Ampex. If you're not familiar with them, before the days of VHS and Beta from Sony, Ampex was the big video recorder company, especially at the very high end of the market. All the stuff that you see from Johnny Carson in the late 60s and through pretty much through the 70s. We're all on those Ampex machines. Anyway, he and a fellow employee decided to go off on their own and start Atari. The guy was passed. A bit more of the story when
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month and try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back for the rest of the Atari story. In 1970, it was like late 1972, his partner that came out, Nolan Bushnell's partner that came out of Ampex, wasn't happy about the way the company was going and sold out for $250,000, of course, for this 1972-ish. Anyway, Nolan would build it into a behemoth only to be run out in 1979 by investors after he'd gone public. On his way out the door, though, he had enough shares of the company to be problematic. They made a deal with him. Remember how I said that he was always enamored with animatronics? Well, one of the things that they did during those 1970s was buy a local restaurant pizza shop and use it to house their new games and test them out. He bought out that pizza franchise. And of course, later on, would in the early 1980s come out with Chuck E. Cheese and fulfill his life's dreams of having his own animatronics, a la Disney. And I think everybody's been to a Chuck E. Cheese at one time or another, even if they don't have kids. They were forced to go for somebody's birthday party. But I met him in 1995, I think, when he was trying to buy out Commodore business machines. But he had been lied to by the CEO, who was milking it for all it was worth for him, and a pretty much giant fraud. But in the 90s, no one was paying much attention. But Nolan Bushnell and Atari, a story for the ages. And now you know.
Now you know the rest of the story.
So let's get to some other stuff. Just like it. Got a few questions out here already, mostly about Twitter and what do I think is going to happen. Why a lot of it's been hidden in what's going on. The real truth of the matter is that Twitter's been a failing company for the last year. The big lie, and a lot of people getting out, was them driving it back up to $73, saying that they were going to make a huge amount of money by doing these newsletters for everybody. And guess what? It didn't go anywhere because they wanted to be filthy, vile little censors and tell everybody what they could write in those newsletters. Now there are much better options out there. The newsletter business never became anything for Twitter. And of course, once again, about a year to the date, Jack Dorsey was at the gates trying to be forced out yet again by big-time investors wanting to monetize Twitter to what they think it is. Well, the big problem is another year's gone down the pike. Twitter's become kind of the old man grandpa thing, and the money is in things like Instagram. You want the 20 to 40-year-olds, and Twitter's got the 40 to 80-year-olds, and for the most part hasn't been able to monetize literally anything. Now, they could change what's going on, and maybe they do. But I had like 3 emails all asking me if this is the same thing as Microsoft leaving, Steve Ballmer leaving, and I would say no. This was more about an incompetent guy, but didn't change quick enough with what was going on in the rest of the world. I think Dorsey also probably not feeling very bad about leaving, because this is going to be a hell year for them, for Congress. In fact, the next couple of years, everybody pretty much knows where they were lied to, and there's probably a fairly good chance that the House will flip in a year, and he will face down a lot of folks that he outright lied to about what they were doing internally at the company. He doesn't have a lot of love on the other side of the aisle either politically. And I think at this point, he would much rather go and hide over with his financial Square company instead of taking the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune on having the biggest year in technology ever, but not being able to capitalize on it for his particular company. Anyway, some comments out there. But yeah, Twitter has not become anything other than a mouthpiece for a handful of folks, and that is if you agree with exactly their party line. So I don't see a lot there. All the things that they've talked about have not really developed over the last year. This is a much different story than Microsoft, in that there were a lot of great things going on at Microsoft. The difference, Ballmer was busy killing them all as soon as anybody came up with anything great. The new CEO just came around and said, you know what, Ballmer, you were wrong about open source software. We're going to change all that stuff, do a bunch of other stuff, and move on. There's nothing that I've read about at Twitter that says they have any kind of good technology, anything they can turn around real quick to make more money, or a way to turn them into Instagram, where all the money apparently is being made. Even companies like Facebook in these social media times is not doing good. And if you want to talk about them by their other name, the Metamucil company, again, I think these are companies that out and out lied in front of Congress, and why maybe this Congress does not go after them. You may be thinking that the next one does, because these were pretty outrageous lies about what they did, how they did it, and what they continue to do. 877-927-6648. You always have to worry about the political implications of what you do. And you stand in the middle of the road, you're going to get hit by cars going both ways. They probably should have just picked one side or another. But there's reasons for both sides to be mad at them. Okay, what else do we have out here? Question about Micron just earlier. Where is this thing going? I think it's going to $100. You couldn't really get much even on Friday, other than this thing kind of came out. You haven't even come close. I bought this thing, and it was just messy and choppy at the lows. I probably should have sat on my hands, but the market started getting real crappy, so I got out of it. But when I got in it, I thought it was going to 100. I think it's going to 100 now. And I don't think that, it could probably just nickel and dime everybody up to 100. Next year looks really good for them. I don't see anything that slows them down. They are the ball bearing company in the tech industry. Without them, almost no one goes anywhere. So, almost virtual monopoly. Although Hincks is doing, Hincks is doing well. So we'll be back.
Are you having fun trading the markets, but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return Hector asks, is AMD and NVIDIA still being shorted? NVIDIA a little bit, AMD a whole lot, and I'm not surprised to see the people that were shorting it on Friday getting skewered today. About 6% on the bi-monthly, but I think it was 34 or 35% on Friday. NVIDIA, not quite as bad. Only about 20% on Friday of the shares were initiated as short positions. Who knows how many people covered before the end of the day. But not surprising we see a little less. Now, all this setup here is fine, except if we dip back underneath the 3x3 on it, we're going to have a ton of these stocks that have been in an incredible ballistic curve higher, give a signal, and a big sell signal at that. So, I have no idea what the future holds for the Fauci virus, but it is one of these things where you go and look at this and you say that the charts probably don't look that good. NVIDIA's volume is not as good as Friday's. You're into Thursday's volume that had 75 million shares with about half of that. So are these the stocks I'm going to be shorting? No. I'm just saying that if these do start turning down, we're going to have a huge downside since the rest of the stocks have been really for sale for a while. Now for the semiconductors, that you got the close underneath that we've been looking for. Now you get a close above it. As long as it stays above it, you're fine. You get another close below like 308 though in the coming days, I think you're in for real trouble, and maybe even before the end of the year. I don't know if they're talking about, I know they're talking about changing tax law. I'm wondering if that isn't the last nail in the coffin, and people start selling this year instead of next year, thinking that they're going to bypass much higher capital gains rates or something like that. But they made in the past, they made taxes retroactive. So I don't know if it really does you any good. I thought that was probably the most Nazi-like thing that they ever did in the tax code, is to tax you after you'd already made the money and added to it. But that was just my opinion. But not something I liked. It'd be different if we got into a war that we needed it for or something else. But we just want it. But that's the job of government, is to take your cash and give it to other folks. So what do we do? Now, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. Anyway, back up on the SMHs, very light volume, but that's kind of the whole market. So we want to take a look at the CBOE volume for the day. As we talked about before, what are we going to see here at the end of the day? And it's not as bad as you would think, but it's not the 15 billion I'd like to see that says we go back and blow out the highs. We're doing about 7.4 billion shares at the bottom of the hour, so that leaves an hour and a half. So maybe 10.5 billion shares if nothing else really happens. There aren't that many shorts. Most of the people on Friday didn't short. There were a handful of stocks that they did. I had the list of the most highly shorted stocks, all the ones above 5 days to cover, in the newsletter this morning. So there are some that are kind of interesting. And I was looking for them, but most of them weren't doing much this morning. It is right back to the usual suspects, and maybe that's the way it will well, let me put it this way. That's the way it probably will be until the end of the year without some big surprise. Now, what that big surprise will be, another Fauci virus variant or something else, hard to say. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, anything else in the den that anybody would want to look at. I got a question from Job, who wants to look at Intel and see what I think. I have not looked at it today. You're up a little bit. I wrote about Intel, not at length, but a little bit in the Tech Insider on Wednesday before we went away. You're up on about half the volume. Long term, it's probably fine. Is there a reason I'd want to get into it now? No. The biggest problem Intel has is that they are getting into the same business that AMD and NVIDIA are with video cards. And actually, the first thing they have looks fairly good. The downside is they spent a huge amount of money getting these new processors out, and they're not selling. So again, is that going to be the end of the world for Intel? No. But they've kind of turned their back on the prosumer, gamer, enthusiast, wanting a very fast desktop workstation for playing games and doing other things. And AMD has been there. I always remember Andy Grove, who I think was the second CEO of Intel, had a sign on his desk that said, if we don't eat our own lunch, someone else will. Well, someone must have thrown that sign away, and Intel's done nothing but go sideways for a while. There was a big push that they were going to make some more money. It didn't happen. Now, this is a company with the right leadership that could be a $100 company in a year if they would figure out how to get a painful cranial rectal inversion solved at the company. And I think if you think about what I said there, you're going to figure it out. But really not much has happened then. Okay, got a couple more emails here. Let's go back and take a look. Yep. Okay. Take a look at that. Okay, what do you think of Apple here, AAPL? As I said early on, Apple had a huge blow-off top. You got about 65 million shares now compared to the almost 120 million share blow-off top, 165.70. But they have the one thing, and there may be a few things, Samsung and them. They may have one of the few things, besides NVIDIA, AMD, and some others, that can afford an extra $10 to have it thrown on a 747. So if you're going and finding the stores with lots and lots of empty shelves, as I did this weekend when I went twice, and we're looking for a variety of things, and I've already bought presents. I sent them out early. I was always worried about even getting anything. So all my stuff I bought back the 1st of October. So I've got a few things that I want to do, but guess what? If you're looking for a big something for somebody, a present for a kid or something, you're going to be able to go to Best Buy and pick up an iPhone or some earbuds. In fact, Apple would rather sell you earbuds than an iPhone. They make more money. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we return, Pete in, just so I don't say it wrong, in San Francisco, apparently has incredible prices at the stores there, from what I've seen on TV. Macy's, huge downside for them. They broke through the long-term trend on that. It's just hard to see that this is going to be a big Christmas for anybody other than small things that can be air shipped. A lot of the stuff didn't show up, and they really didn't talk much about that during earnings. I don't know what you're doing on here other than, I don't see any reason really to be in retail much. I mean, the one big retailer that probably should be thankful, we talked about for 2 weeks, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with Best Buy, but they just drove it up into earnings to find out that there were none. So again, Apple's not going to be enough to hold them up. People are going to Best Buy. There's a lot of business there. There isn't much business at any of the other retailers, the big malls, that kind of stuff. Were pretty empty around here. And with a lot of retired people, you know what? They get out and walk around the malls a lot. But I drove by a couple of them over the weekend. Not much going on. Another down day. The only good thing that could happen here is a test with a lighter volume of the 103.42 low, which is where this thing is headed, the October 1st low. And so you're going to have pretty much almost a 40% haircut off this, off the top in Best Buy before it goes anything. And that's where people are going. So I don't see any reason why you want to be in Macy's or something like that. I think right now we're starting to get blinders toward the end of the year that it's tech companies that aren't going to be much affected by whatever the Fauci virus variant of the day is. So we shall see. Let's see, what else do we have? Macy's puts. Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay. You know where I think it's going. So a good short there. Okay. Got a couple more here. Let me get caught up and clean up some screens here. Okay, this question comes out on whether or not not snag. What is it? Square. SQ. Do you think Square does that much better? Only if they force him out, because he wasn't very good there, and he's not going to be any much better at Square either. I think his days as a CEO are numbered. Mostly because every time you see him, the guy is so gassed that he's barely conscious. So, Yeah, maybe he needs to go home and spend more time with his weed. I think, wouldn't he be the first one? I need to spend more time with my family. But he kind of wants to spend more time with his weed. So I'm not a big fan of Dorsey's going forward. And if you wanted to take the opposite side of which company that would really go higher if it lost the CEO, it would have been Square. I think you probably could have had 10 or 15 bucks in Square today if he quit both of them. And that is. Yeah. Question about Microsoft. MSFT. They're back underneath it. You still need them to go back above a little bit and then close back with a lot of volume. They're holding up here. I got a couple other questions that are all along the same line on Microsoft, but probably the one that's I'll take care of first of all is Microsoft, and is it getting any farther down the road on taking care of bugs in the software that get patched every week? And I think there were 70 of them last week. Why are there so many of these bugs that can be exploited by hackers? And we got about 3 minutes here, and I don't have anything else here, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Microsoft, like every other big computer or cell phone, smartphone manufacturer, including Apple, all used C or C++ to write all the code that runs on the machine. When you write code that works very close to the processor or hardware on the board, they call it being close to the metal. More about being close to a computer, the actual hardware, is kind of what they're saying. Why most of the high-end software is written in higher level languages that abstract a lot more. Well, if you need at the very low level where all these things are going on, like drivers for your video card that you had to fight one time, those all have to be written in C or C++. And there's a thing called pointers. And the problem is that you have to write perfect code. You make one mistake in there and someone can exploit it. And it's not like you just have one or two things. You may have 500 or 1,000 things that could go wrong in writing a program. There's a handful of people that can keep it all in their heads, but most people can't. They just don't have a head quite that large. So you get code that's written and they did the best job they could, and it still has bugs. Well, what Microsoft, Apple, and almost all these other companies have done in the last few years is gone from writing most of their code in C, C++. Now all the patches, or most of the patches, are in a language called Rust. And Rust checks all that stuff. It won't compile and allow you to make those kind of mistakes. It takes a lot longer to write. It takes you a lot longer to understand. But pretty much everything from Microsoft now on a bug fix is going to be fixed in Rust. So they'll make the patches where they need to in that. But I think the future for a lot of these companies and getting rid of these vulnerabilities, in fact, Microsoft and Apple and Android all say the same thing, and that is 75% of their bug patches are all about memory errors. And these memory errors are all about pointers. And I won't get into the whole who shot John on pointers, but like I said, doing it right is kind of like playing the original Star Trek. They had the 3 levels of chess game. It wasn't just regular chess. It was on 3 different 3D levels. That's about how good you have to do to be perfect in C on anything close to the metal. And that's why there are so many bugs out there. But and so far it's been good. Last year they've done a lot to get those fixed. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're getting ready to wrap up another great hour. Tom O'Brien in the bullpen, I think, setting up there. Tommy, back to the pool? Yep, he's back in. So we've got that. But we'll keep a close eye on the volume on the close today. 7.7 billion shares, like I said. I think maybe we do what we did on Friday. That's on the heels of the Fed throwing lots and lots of cash at this market from last week. Then, of course, we go into fund buying, which if you read the charters for most of these funds, it says the last, depending on which one it is, last 2 or 3 days of the month, the first 2 or 3 days of the next month. So is this just the markup phase of this? We better have some volume in the next couple of days. If not, we may have a little bit more of what we had on Friday. Especially the way that these things are set up, they can't really take a retrace much of any kind going forward without breaking a lot of black box sell signs in the market. So nothing to do now if you're long. Put in your stops. This is a really good time to do it. As I said in my newsletter today, frankly, if I was going to do anything, it would be in puts or calls. I don't think I'd want to be in a market that's moving as wildly as this and not have some limit to the amount. And maybe if you're in a slow moving stock, maybe no big deal, but you don't know what's going to happen next. It seems like they're throwing everything at this market. Fed is just adding more cash. Question is whether or not one day he decides to quit throwing a little bit more gasoline on the fire. But we shall see anyway. Not a great day so far. We'll have to wait for the close. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So we not have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat